Hey guys, this is Lexi Frank. I play football for Avon, and this is Ohio Sportsnet. Let's go. I'm ready. My calves are so amazing.
How is that?
Best calves on the team.
Really?
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Because they just look so nice. Look at my calves. Tell me those aren't nice calves.
What's your definition of nice?
I don't know. They're just
strong, cut,
yes,
what?
They look lean. They look good. Like I could be a leg model. I'm gonna go model for Nike. Some cleats, but mostly just show off my calves.
Walk me through the first day that you thought you wanted to play football for Avon.
It was my freshman year, and I was thinking, I need another sport to help get me in shape for lacrosse for the off season. And I was like, I actually went to the athletic website. I was looking at the fall sports, and I'm like, okay, I can't do soccer. I would die. Too much running. Volleyball, that wouldn't have worked out. Cross country, no, that's too much. I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to play football, so why don't I just go do football? Because ever since I was little, I've always watched football, and it's like, Mom, can I play football? She's like, no, you're gonna get hurt. And I'm like, I'll be fine. She's like, no. Basically how I kind of convinced my mom, I kind of snuck out of the house to come to open turfs for football. My stepdad, he would drive me, and I would bring like all my lacrosse gear and say I'd be going to lacrosse, and I would just throw it down on the turf and I would go do football instead. I would get here really early so there'd be nobody here so they wouldn't think of anything.
What was the first reaction of when you showed up to that open practice? Here comes a girl trying out for football.
I was a little intimidated because all the dudes were like looking at me. They're like, what is she doing here? And it's like, I felt kind of awkward. But then they eventually all just kind of got used to me because I just kept showing up and then just kept doing my own thing. Plus I had Madge. Madge knows my parents. I would hang out with him a lot and he would just be like, yeah, do this, 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 and he would always help me out. Madge is definitely my favorite for sure.
So what kept you coming back?
I love football, always loved it. And I don't know, I liked it after doing it. I honestly, my first year, I didn't know that we had to do an offensive and defensive position. I was like, oh, I just want to be a receiver. And then they put me at corner, and I'm like, corner? What's corner? What do you mean corner? I'm here to be a receiver. And they're like, no, you're corner and receiver. I was like, oh, great. And then I met Kiesel. Kiesel. My parents also know him. He was their teacher when they were in high school. Had a little connection with Kiesel. And then I started to talking to the dudes more, the coaches, and then had like a little bit of bond with them, and it just kind of wanted to stay and keep going.
First moment that she brought it up to you, I want to play football, what'd you say?
No. I was scared. I didn't want her to get hurt.
So how did she convince you?
Well, she's determined, and she just really wanted to play, and she's like, Mom, I won't get hurt, I promise. But I just supported her because I know she really wanted to do this, and I'm just super proud of her for doing that. Like, she just pushed her way into it.
I had never really had a girl on our varsity football team before. I mean, that's one thing we pride ourselves on as a football program. We're welcoming to everybody. As long as you're willing to work hard, show up, and be a great teammate, you can play for the Avon Eagles. But this was the first time we had a girl on the team, and I wasn't sure what her purpose was or her why. And so quite honestly, I didn't pay it much attention. You know, we treated her like one of the guys and like any other sophomore who would join our team. And then as the year went on and you got to know her, you started appreciating her even more and more. But again, I was like, maybe this is a one-year deal and she won't be back. Because any sophomore goes through a physical grind. I mean, it's hard as a sophomore to play varsity football. It's the first time that kids are going against people older than them. A sophomore versus a senior, that's a 2-year gap. And in 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, none of that exists. In youth football, that doesn't exist. Throw in there that she's a female at this particular time, and she's going against people that are bigger and stronger than her. I just felt like she, at the end of the year, would say, yeah, this was a great experience. I did it, check it off my list, and move on. And that's kind of what I thought would happen.
She's great. I mean, she was obviously new to football when she came, and she does all our signaling now. She knows the offense. She helps young guys out. That's just amazing. That's what you ask for. If your role's not on the field, then you help as many people as you can off the field, and then when your time comes, you step up and you execute.
She works just as hard as, if not harder than everybody out here, I think, even if she's a girl, you know, it doesn't really make a difference out here. You know, we're all tight, we're all friends, and she puts in the same amount of work as everybody else does. It's impressive, for sure.
Oh, she's awesome. She came in, most of us thought that nothing really would have came out of it. Like, not many girls choose to play football, which is awesome that she did. And for her to stick it out 4 years is amazing, and her helping out, and she's just a great part of the team.
She comes here every day and busts her ass, and she's always signaling the calls, and she's always just working hard. And I think she works sometimes a lot harder than these other guys, but you know, I just give a lot of credit to Lexi. It's just awesome to see her come back out, you know, and always just be around. And you know, I think she deserves a lot more credit than she gets.
She probably knows the playbook better than me. I mean, she's signaling all these plays. I mean, like, just staying with the program all these years as like a female, probably not the easiest thing to do, but she did it. I don't think we've like left her out of like anything, so hopefully she feels like she's a big part of the team.
I think it's awesome because obviously no other girls are doing this. She's doing it. Probably makes her nervous sometimes, but she just embraces it and does her thing with it, so I think it's awesome. She does everything. She grinds with us. She goes through everything with us, so can't treat her any different than anyone else is.
Lexi's one of our teammates. I mean, she always has been. She has to go through the same stuff that we do. I mean, she gets yelled at by the coaches. We get yelled at by the coaches. They treat her just as like they treat me or treat someone else. And she's actually been a really big help. She signals all the plays, offense, the entire practice is dialed in from start to finish. She's honestly tougher than some of the kids on this team that you know, I mean, she just honestly is. But no, Lexi's really nice. She works hard, just as hard as we do. I'm glad we have her on the team. Not a lot of teams have a tough girl like that on their team.
What's it like being a girl in a predominantly male sport?
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's kind of like awkward at first, but not anymore. I just got used to all of them.
I love it. I love watching her play. It is like the best thing ever, but all the support that she gets from fans and parents and stuff like that, it's just incredible. And people like really, like women especially, respect that. Like, we can do what men do, right? So I just think it's amazing.
What do you say to the naysayers or the haters or the stereotypers that a girl playing a boys sport and it's too physical and she could get hurt?
Yeah, I mean, those are all things where you could get hurt. I mean, every kid understands the risk when you play a contact sport. Girls are tough, and you can obviously see it's happening in wrestling right now. That's going on. Lexi's a tremendous lacrosse player. You know, the other day she was showing me a bruise she had when she got tackled in the JV game and popped right back up. But you cannot question her toughness. You know, from a physical perspective, do we have people bigger, faster, and stronger than her? Sure. Do we have people tougher than her? No, I don't think so. And there's probably a reason why, you know, God has women have babies and not men, because they're inherently, I think, tougher than men to begin with.
That would be my grandma. She always thinks I'm gonna get hurt. I'm like, I'm not gonna get hurt. I've always been like the toughest kid growing up. You know, I lift weights, I'm used to it. I've always actually been like pretty strong. Even though I'm like, you know, on the weaker side with like all the guys, I'm like definitely one of the strongest girls at the school. I mean, I don't really care what others say. It's like, oh, okay, I don't really care. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. That's how I roll.
When you're coming out and playing a sport that's very hard and not others can do, she came out and made it look easy because she was a sponge. Okay, so every single practice, it's a learning moment for her, and she's truly a star in her role. I know we say that a lot, but she's the definition of that in our program, being a star in her role, supporting her teammates. She does whatever we ask her to do, whether it's signaling at practice because she knows the signals better than anybody other than maybe Coach U, but she's right there with them. It's just little things like that that make her so valued in our program. We truly love having her around, and not many others can do what she's doing, and she's stuck with it. She's always in the weight room. She does everything we ask everybody else to, and she does it with 110% effort.
Lexi's going to do whatever we ask her to do to help her team, and I think anybody knows this. There's no question that year one, I tried to ignore, you know, Lexi's being a girl on the team and just treat her like any other player, like it was just something that didn't exist. The second year, okay, now this is a young lady who's caught my attention, and she's really working hard and showing up and doing everything she has to, and she's kind of earned her place. And now senior year, She's one of my favorite players on the team, without question. Lexi's one of my favorite players on the team. We spend a lot of time together. She's become a signal caller for me, and in practice, I don't know the signals when we signal things in. Lexi does. So she signals for me, and she stands right next to me during practice, and we have a lot of conversations, and sometimes she reminds me to keep my temper in check. She's somebody that really is impressive to me. I think one of my favorite Lexi stories is, you know, I was lifting in the mornings with our players. I would try to show up at those 6 o'clock a.m. workouts that actually start at 5:50. And when I'd show up, I'd ask Coach Chichetti, hey, who do you want me to work out with today? So I showed up one day, and my partner became Lexi. And I watched her go through this workout and grind through this workout, and she drugged me through it. And I was hurting after that workout because her work ethic is that good. I was super impressed with her, and it just kind of solidified where we were in this journey, that she now belongs and she works just as hard as anybody else on our team.
It's very motivating as a coach when you see the guys really cheer her on or support her or help her get better, whether it's running a route or just getting excited if it's on Saturday and she makes a catch. Remember last year when she had her 2-point conversion catch, it's her favorite route to run. We called it, dialed it up for her, and just looking at the sidelines after she caught that was a true example of how they do support her being a part of this program. I got goosebumps just talking about that. So that moment especially was, again, a great example of how her teammates love her because she's a star in her role, and she proves the doubters wrong.
It was uncharted territory for me. I'm not going to lie. I remember the first scrimmage we went to. I think we were scrimmaging Brunswick, and she's a sophomore, and we're on the bus, and we get off the bus, and she comes walking up to me, and I'm in game mode and says, Coach, where am I going to change at? And I was kind of annoyed by the question, like, I don't know, find a place to change, you know. But now those are in the back of my mind. Anywhere we go, I'm figuring it out for her because she is a valued member of our team. Our players love her. I love her. She works just as hard as anybody on this football team, and she's improved herself a great deal as a player. So when she decided she was going to be a position player, I honestly just thought the physical nature of the game of football, she'll try this and she won't come back. But she did. And that's a credit to her and her work ethic and her drive and determination and her purpose. I couldn't be more proud of anybody on our team than I am of Lexi Frank.
How was it when your parents figured out that you weren't sneaking off to lacrosse practice? And the first reaction, the first couple conversations?
My mom was like, no, you are not doing this. And I'm like, but I am doing this. And it was basically just like a back and forth thing. And she eventually just gave up with me and just let me do it. And now she's like, she loves coming to my games. She loves watching me play. So I definitely won that argument. I definitely won there.
Is she like your biggest cheerleader? Yes.
Yes. She loves to come and watch me.
How much of a role model do you think she is for like young girls?
Very big role model. If a young girl sees her out here, that can mean a lot to a young person. To see a girl doing things that normally guys do, that could make a lot of young girls want to play football, definitely.
Oh, I think every girl in Avon should look up to Lexi. She chose a hard challenge to play on a football team and stick it out 3 years out of the 4 she's been in high school, and shaking down any challenge, helping out where she's asked and sticking to her role, and she's a great player, a great teammate.
It takes a lot of courage to step out here on the field as a female or in like a male dominant sport, so it's probably pretty cool for other people that think of doing that or want to do that.
Probably a big role model because, you know, girls they might want to play, but they just don't because it's mostly guy sport, but maybe she'll open it up to a lot more girls who want to play.
You think that's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think the message that, you know, I would take from it is that don't let people talk you out of your dreams and your goals. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish is your dreams and your goals. And people can tell you you shouldn't do that or why not do something else, but you got to be true to yourself. Lexi's the only one who knows what made her want to spend 3 years playing high school football with a pretty successful program. But that was a goal of hers, and she didn't let people talk her out of it. And I'm proud of our players and our program and our team too, because we welcomed her, but we didn't give her anything. Somebody asked me, hey, you got a girl on your team when she was a sophomore, maybe want to write a story about it? No thanks, we're not. She hasn't earned a story as a sophomore just because she's a young lady on a high school football team. Someone wants to write a story on her now, which I think it's in the makes, absolutely, because she's earned that because she spent 3 years doing all the things you expect out of any high school football player, and just so happens to be a young lady.
Big time. I've had moms say they like have siblings and they're gonna come watch you play so they can get some tips and stuff like that. They love the fact that they can watch her play. They look up to her for that. Like little girls, not even boys. Like little girls look up to her for that, and they just get super excited about it.
You almost look at yourself as like a pioneer. You know, like little girls look up to you.
Yes, I've actually had like at youth camps there would be like a girl every once in a while, and I'll go hang out with her and be like, hey, what's up? I like this. My sophomore year, after a game, it was on a Friday night, this kid came up to me and asked me for my autograph. And I was like, okay. I was like, what do you want me to sign? He's like, I want you to sign my arm. And I was like, okay. So I went to the coach's office. I grabbed like an Expo marker and just wrote my name on his arm. And he was so excited about it. I was like, okay.
How'd that feel?
That felt pretty cool. I was like, I feel like a celebrity right now. Never been asked for an autograph till then.
I think she's truly a role model. She's very motivating. What she's doing for other girls out there, that you can do something that the society doesn't expect you to do.
Your daughter became high school age and wanted to play football. What would you say to her?
I would fully support it. I always say, you know, whatever sport she wants to play, or if it's not a sport that she wants to play, I would fully support whatever makes her happy. I'm not going to say you have to play this or you have to play that. I would fully support her, and honestly, Lexi has given me the experience of how that works, so I'm thankful for Lexi, because if that did happen one day, I think I would know how to deal with it and how to go about her learning the ways of playing football. I definitely think she is a pioneer for that. She's showing everybody that you can do something that everybody may not be comfortable with. She's showing those doubters that you can step out there and you can compete and you can be a part of a team aspect, even though it's not something our society is normal to, and I love that about her.
How do other people around school treat you? Like when they found out, hey, here you are a girl playing on the football team, well, how'd that go? Teachers?
Well, actually in lacrosse, when, you know, incoming freshmen come up or like other people found out I played football, they're like, oh, and you have to play defense on me? Like they're intimidated by me, they're scared by me, and I'm like, guys, I'm not gonna hurt you. And they think, oh, but you play football, so you're good at everything. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's how it works. But a lot of people are intimidated by me because like, oh, you play football, you lift weights. And I'm like, I'm actually like literally like a giant teddy bear. Like I may look intimidating, but I'm not.
Do you even look at it as you're in a male-dominant sport, or you're just in a sport?
I'm honestly just in a sport. I don't care who's playing the sport. As long as I'm playing the sport and I'm happy, it's cool. I don't really care.
If 5-10 years down the road, all of a sudden you come back and you're watching an Avon game, or you hear, hey, there's like 2 or 3 girls, or 4 or 5 girls, or a handful of girls on the team, how would that make you feel?
I would be pretty hyped about that. That'd be really cool to see, especially because like I'm the only one here. I've been the only girl to ever sign that rock over there. I would definitely love to see some more names on there.
And then just the fact that you're a position player. You're not. Sometimes you see girls playing football, but they're a kicker.
You're a kicker, yes.
So how different is that then? You're a position player.
When I was at work yesterday, I met 3 female football players. They all go to Elyria Catholic, and they were all kickers. And then they found out that I was a receiver, and like they were so hyped about that. They're like, wow, that's crazy. So you actually get to run the ball, you get to do all this fun stuff. I'm like, yep, it's great. I'd rather like get in there, like do something rather than just like kind of walk around, sit on the sidelines, wait. Yeah, receiver is definitely my position.
How much fun are you having?
Oh, I have a lot of fun. I love to be here. I love to play. It is so fun, even though it gets really hot sometimes. You know, coaches can get angry and yell, but it's so fun.
So what do you want to accomplish your senior year?
I want to get a touchdown on a Friday night. That is my biggest goal. Biggest goal right there. And I wanted to be in that end zone, right by the high school section.
How would that feel?
Great. That would be like the greatest thing. That'd be so fun.
How do you think your teammates would react?
Oh, they'd be hyped. They'd be like throwing me up in the air, like, Lexi, Lexi. Yeah. I remember after I got my 2-point conversion, it was like literally right here, all the players were hyped. They're so hyped.
Like what kind of legacy you want to leave?
I don't even know. I just gotta do whatever you want to do. I don't care what other people think. Whatever makes you happy, do it. Something I definitely still want that play named after me. The Dino, it needs to change into the Lexi. I'd really like to give a speech at graduation because, you know, kind of just being like, hey, you guys can do whatever you want to do because I literally played football.
In 5-10 years, if people talk about you, what do you want them to say?
I don't even know. Like, hopefully by then there will be like other girls playing. They'll be like, and I want like those girls to be like, oh yeah, well this girl played, so I want to play. And it's like, I just kind of want to like start it, you know, like start other girls playing football.
Oh my gosh, my daughter plays football. My daughter, like I tell everybody, my biggest concern, I didn't care that she played. My biggest concern was just her getting hurt because there's all these big guys, and the guys nowadays in high school are nothing compared like how we were, like how the guys were in high school when I was at that time. I'm just super, super proud of her.
Don't you feel like she has 100 big brothers watching her back though?
Yeah, but I almost think it's like the opposite. I feel like she's watching out for everybody else. She's kind of like the motherly person, but I'm like, Lex, how does it feel to like, because she went to camp, how does it feel with all those dudes? She's like, I'm used to them. Like, she doesn't care. She's always just been that little girl who is just like tough. I have a story about when she got, these kids were stealing glow sticks, or this boy was stealing glow sticks from all these other kids at a wedding, and here's Lexi trying to fight the kid in a dress. And I'm like, oh God, my hands are gonna be full. She was only like 6 years old. So she's got a big heart, but she's super tough too, and just a really determined kid.
What's the chances she could maybe catch a touchdown or something, you know?
That would be awesome. You know, if the opportunity presents itself, we'll do that. Lexi knows that our number one objective on Friday nights is to win the football games. That's the goal. And so if she can help us do that, we'll put her in those situations. If it's ever a situation where we're up by a lot or down by a lot and we can get her in the game and get her a chance or a touch, we'll certainly try to do that like we would with any senior.
What if she caught a touchdown in her senior year? What do you think would be the result from the sidelines, the fans, everybody?
That would be absolutely amazing. I feel like the student section would probably storm the field if we did that. And honestly, that would be awesome. It would be just like, as a coach, I think I might cry on that one if that happens, just because, again, I'm getting goosebumps because she worked so hard and she deserves that. So
I love you, Lex. I'm super proud of you.
Elder was saying, Lexi, we might have to rename the Dino after you. I'm like, you really should. Because, you know, we got all of our signals. So
Are we calling it a Lexi or a Frank?
Alexi.
Okay.
Alexi. So it's usually like X Dino, right? But I'm going to say X Lexi with like a hair flip. Tell me that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, but, okay, other than Sam, you know, Sam's the only one who can do that because he's the only one with any hair, Coach U. You know, no one else really has any hair. Coach Powell can't do a hair flip.
No, for the signal next year.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
but if he's signaling the plays, how's he going to do a hair flip with no hair?
You just got to really, like really throw your head back and do the hair flip.
You would be legendary if you got a play named after you, you know?
I mean, Galini got a play named after him, so I deserve a play named after him.
That was the false start one, right?
Yep.
So who wears number 14 better? You or him?
That's not even a question.
Really?
Yeah.
You're better than the Penn State recruit?
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty modest, aren't you?
Actually, I'm committed to Ohio State quarterback, lefty. And we all know Ohio State beats Penn State, so I'm not even worried.
You're a lefty?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I am a lefty, yeah. We're kind of rare, the lefties. You don't see many of us, but yeah. Do you want to commit to Ohio State? Yeah, feeling really good about it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Are you gonna like make $1 million before you even step foot on campus? Because
yeah.
Name, image, license.
Yeah, I already have. Tampa Bay's looking at me instead of Tom Brady right now. So I'm set. I'm set for life right now. I'm feeling good.